His Rich Tennessee homestead. Well, we made it at the end of all this. Uh, let's drag up a chair, pour yourself a cup of coffee. Let's talk. We're going to go over this, just kind of look at it from just a pure 4 cent side. Okay, we have companies out there that are merging. They are acquiring seed companies like there is just no tomorrow. Matter of fact, most of your seed in this nation, in the world right now, is controlled by really three companies. Because you got Bayer merged with Monsanto. At the beginning of this all, it was talk. Paperwork was in. It's been approved. It's done. Dow and DuPont are in the process of merging. Paperwork's in. Just a matter of time before it's done. Syngenta and ChemChina. Paperwork's in. Just a matter of when it's done. There are going to be three major players. Monsanto has already shown a great deal of interest in Syngenta. I guess their products are kind of more interlinked than most would believe. I foresee in the very near future probably one company that is handling all this biotech nonsense. And I really believe that a lot of the people in the biotech industry believe they're doing good. The fact of the matter is that they're pushing out this stuff and they really don't know. They really don't know what the long-term effects may be. All they know is they're dealing with one problem at a time. It's a classic example of I'm not seeing the forest for the trees. Uh, you know, their herbicides killed the good microbial life in the soil, allowing pathogens and disease to run amok. So the biotech people have worked on these treatments to try to put those microbes back in place and blah, 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 blah. Okay, there it is. So now and by the way, I was just looking at one of Syngenta's ads, and they were talking about that in soybean, rebuilding the microbial life and treating certain diseases and so forth can be handled by just a few of their specialty products. A few, not just one. Each time they fix a problem, they charge you for it. Okay, so the farmer's getting hosed too. Uh, you know, the American farmer is being played like a violin, uh, and they're falling for it. Okay, if the farmers would step back and go, wait a minute, why do you have to give me microbes? Aren't those in the soil? And then something nature provides. The truth is, yeah, it does, and they've killed them. And so now you get to buy your microbes from them. There you go. Write the check. And that is why uh, this last harvest, a lot of the farmers out there was doing good to break even, much less make money. Okay. Now there's a few that make money, but they're probably still sitting with their crops in silos. They're waiting for the pricing to go back up. Oh, that's another one. Got to do all these things to feed the world. And they have really hyped that up, and everybody's running around believing it. Fact of the matter is, the UN, in their analysis of the food situation in the world, says, yeah, really, it's a distribution problem. These little dictators take the food that comes into their country and they repackage it up and send it back out and sell it on their own. And their people just go hungry. Now, you can pretty much follow that through the commodities market. Okay, if they demand for food, and if the world's starving, the demand of food would be very high, wouldn't it? Yeah. Well, when the demand outstrips the supply, price goes up. Simple economics. When supply and demand are about equal, prices stabilize. When demand is less than the supply, price goes down. We, right now, are in a depressed farm economy. Prices are down. Now, does that tell you that maybe, just maybe, these companies are telling me a story? There's not a big demand for that food, and therefore the price is down. Your federal government has to go out there and kind of try to prop up the farmer a little bit to keep them doing what they got to do, because after all, these companies need the money. So we got to keep it growing. And for heaven's sakes, if you let that land sit idle and maybe throw some cows and goats and whatever out there, it might rebuild the soil, and then you wouldn't need their seed treatments. Can't have that. So, yeah. Okay. It's a smoke and mirrors game, folks. The world's not starving. I mean, there's starvation in the world in places, and that's usually caused by the governments in charge of those places. So, yeah, that's a bunch of BS. Okay. And simple facts. But it has caused a crisis out there. We have killed the soil. We have diseases that was once isolated to small areas in the country, have now spread all over the country, and are doing great deals of damage. But that's okay. The biotech industry has come up with ways to battle those diseases, not cure the diseases, not get rid of the pathogens, but to put enough living microbes back in the soil that it protects your little plant. And your plant may survive the season. Man, common sense tells you, you'd take an axe handle these salesmen. Just ought to beat the heck out of them. Hey, you're lying little SOB, and if I catch you on my property again, next time I'll shoot you. And get busy trying to get your soil back in shape. But that's not what's going to happen out there. Because I got to be honest with you. These grain farmers, they're a special breed now. They run around in their Dockers and their clean pressed shirts, and you rarely see them dirty. Lord, they don't even need the farmer and tractors anymore. They've got them set up to where you can just pre-program them and turn them loose. Let GPS guide them. That day's coming, folks. The farmer won't even be in the field. Maybe Mother Monsanto can sit there at the corporate office and control the tractors of the world. You just never know. But that seems to be their game plan. You have went from quite a few companies out there, a lot of companies that dealt in seed and different things of this nature. And they've been gobbled up. They're all but gone. You have the big companies out there gobbling up one another. You got the Bayer and the Monsanto merge. That's done. That's history at this point. They're now merged. Dow and DuPont has their paperwork in the SEC for merger. And the Syngenta and ChemChina's, all that merger has been approved through their boards, and now they're putting together the paperwork to go into the SEC. So you're going to end up with 3 companies. Now, probably in the very near future, because we already know Monsanto has an eyeball on Syngenta, probably because their products are a lot alike. It'd be easy to kind of merge them together. And the name will stay the same, I'm sure, because it would look real bad if, one company's name controlled all the products in the world. So I'm sure they'll leave the company intact to some degree. But basically, you're going to get down to eventually you're going to have one company that's going to control the food of the world. Boy, does that sound like a potential problem to you? Now, but not really. I mean, look at how these guys are looking out for the American farmer, for heaven's sakes. I mean, goodness gracious. They just cure every little problem they have with the latest biotech inventions. We got little genetically altered microorganisms coated on seeds to get into your soil. Folks, what kind of long range studies have they done on that? These things, what can these little microbes create out there? Maybe, right now they say, oh, these things will only live through the season. Then they're going to die. Well, what happens if they become Roundup resistant like a lot of other insects have? And insecticide resistant, herbicide resistant, so forth. Uh, and they don't die. What's the genetic makeup of these new little microbes? What are they going to form out there in the soil? Heaven only knows. Okay? We don't know what they're creating out there. I don't think they really do. To be honest, I don't think they really do. Even more than that, I really don't think they care. Just they'll figure out a way to control whatever little microbe happens to pop up. They're tampering with things. You need to be aware of that. So that's the company. The chemicals they're using, now this next new generation of herbicides has the potential of being a problem. Because once you get dioxin going in the soil, and it's not going to be, all it's going to be is a big tainted shipment slip through, or a farmer leaves a sprayer sit out in the sunlight and starts forming dioxin. Once they spray it on the field, folks, that stuff doesn't go away. It'll be there for this crop and the next crop and the crop after. So now you're going to be eating dioxin tainted food. Congratulations. That stuff ought to do you good. Now, did we get rid of any of the nasties of Roundup? No, they just basically poured these two horrible herbicides in together. So there you go. That ought to kill them weeds. Well, Mother Nature has shown the foolishness of this kind of thinking by creating insects and weeds that keep outdoing their technology. Do they not think it's going to continue? Not nice to fool with Mother Nature. She has a way of kicking your tush. And she's going to stay ahead of these tech companies. And the problems are going to continue. And the poisons are going to get worse. And the cost of the farmer is going to go higher. Sooner or later, folks, that cost is going to get passed on to you. Because these biotech companies aren't going to want the entire farming industry to go down, or maybe they do, because there would be a good chance to cut out the middleman. And after all, technology has now gotten to the place where, all they need is somebody sitting in a control booth to run the GPS systems on tractors, and they can farm, 10 farms from one spot. Technology is getting there. Okay? Heck with these family farm things, or even having a farm manager out there, heck with that. You don't need all that. You can do it. Remote control. It's coming. Okay? The technology is coming. And the poor farmer, he's thinking they're doing him a favor. I don't think you're like a chicken being slipped into a killing cone. It's nice and comfy. You feel good and secure right up to the point of them cutting your throat. And that's what's happening. You're getting ready to get your throat cut. And so there's something to be aware of. And when that happens, your food costs are going to go through the roof, because at that point, they're just going to milk you dry. And, there you have it. And you're going to pay top premium dollar to be poisoned. Isn't that great? Yeah. Medical research is all out there. If you start studying the medical end of this whole thing, it'll drive you crazy. Really will. And it's sad that people can be that cruel to knowingly put poison in people's food and not care. Okay, because it makes them $1. But when you look at the companies, it's not conspiracy theory. You look at the companies, places like Bayer, bless their little hearts, had a HIV tainted drug that they kept pumping into children. And when they got caught doing it here, they pulled it off the market here and changed its little name and marketed it in Europe. Killed children there. God have mercy on him. But something tells me he probably won't. Anyway, so that's basically what's going on. And what can be done? You can stop buying it, folks. This country is headed for an agricultural collapse. Truly is headed for it. All the signs are there. That we've destroyed the microbial life in the soil. Pathogens are running amok. They're spreading out everywhere, and they're bringing with them death and destruction. It's kind of the dichotomy of good versus evil. The good microbes that uh, keep these pathogens in check and keep these diseases in check have been destroyed by these biotech companies and their herbicides. Congratulations, guys. But that's okay because they keep coming up with new and improved and better ways to keep your little plant alive in a hostile environment, you might as well say. You ever think for 30 seconds you'd ever deem the soil a hostile environment for a plant? It's there. It's here. Okay? Wake up. You're being poisoned. Look at the diseases. Look at the correlations of these diseases and these herbicides. And the herbicides next year get worse. So will it directly affect? Yeah. It's going to make these diseases worse and probably even bring on some new ones. Uh, you know, when you have a company who can go to the government and say, these little inert ingredients we're not going to talk to you about because they're a trade secret. And then when somebody finally does chemical analysis on the things and finds out that that surfactant that they use is more deadly than their quote unquote main ingredient, and explains to science a little bit more of how this stuff can do damage to a human body and allow this glyphosate to enter into cells and things of this nature, causing havoc. Uh, that's junk science, folks. It's junk science. After all, Monsanto, they spent, 3 whole months looking at the effects of these things on humans, 2 weeks looking at animals. I mean, now seriously, if you took that kind of research to the government, they'd laugh you out of the building. Okay? But because it comes from these biotech companies who have paid well to help control your government, they go, oh, yeah, sounds good. You've covered our butts. We'll let you do it. Okay, this new herbicides out there, we are the only country in the world that is allowing it right now. Only country in the world. Now, I'm sure enough money gets spent. Yeah, there'll be others join into the party. But right now, it's just us. And even the EPA's own testing of this stuff has been such junk science that a lot of scientific researchers are going, this is a violation of law, what you're doing here. After all, it's the government. They're allowed. The law really doesn't apply to them a lot. They can kind of bend it, stretch it, break it, doesn't matter. So you got this new variety of plants and this new variety of herbicides that have a very strong possibility of putting dioxin out there in your fields, which will put dioxin in your food, which is going to put dioxin in you. Okay? But don't worry, as long as it doesn't get above 1 part per million, which probably is more than, if you really check, most humans are probably packing that now, it's going to go up. Cancers are going to go up, things of this nature. You can stop it. It's up to you. The problem with this whole thing is they are looking to control big ag and agriculture all over the world. How do you get a control of that? Well, for one, when there's no more non-GMO seed available to the world's population, then guess what? Now you have to go to these biotech companies to get your seed, and they're gonna, you're gonna have one choice. Oh, they might have 3 or 4, 5, 10 brands out there. I mean, DeKalb and Premier, and all these guys. They all have different names. It's all the same seed. All the same seed. All coming from their motherships. Okay, so be advised. It doesn't matter the name on that bag because it all is coming from the same places. Wake up. So people are thinking, well, if it really gets that bad, I'll go out and find myself a farmer. No, it's that bad, folks. It was that bad a long time ago. They've been poisoning you for decades. Have you went out and found your local farmers? Probably not. Organic farmers are a small, very small share of the market. They've been growing over the past few years, but it's a very small share. But here's the simple fact. As an organic farmer, unless I have a market, okay, if I grow, let's say 1,000 watermelons and I can only sell 800, next year, guess how many watermelon I'm going to plant? Okay? Because I'm not in the business of throwing away watermelons. If I can sell, 50 rows of green beans, that's all I'm going to plant, folks. It's 50 rows of green beans. Now, I don't care what your market does out there, okay? As far as if all of a sudden people start screaming, oh my God, we're destroyed our cropland, big ag is collapsing, and there's no food on the shelves, you run out to the local farmers. He's going to tell you, I'm sorry, everything I got sold. What do you do then, folks? Think about it. It's coming at you like a freight train. Get ahead of that curve. And now, in order to try to stop some of this madness out there, now's when you need to go out and start buying your organic food from your farmers. Now is when you need to find other sources other than these grocery stores for your food. Now. Because as you go out and say, okay, I'm going to need this, and this, the farmer's going to produce it for you. His production level is going to go up from what it was. And as you convince your neighbor that they need to do the same, production levels are going to go up. As they see the market will bear it, they will buy and plant more seed and do their thing. Okay? To be quite honest with you, the GMO plant itself, there is a lot of debate out there whether it could even have effect on human DNA. Wow. Okay. But it is much what is turning your food right now into a poison is not necessarily the plant. It's what it's grown in and how it's grown. That's what's making it poisonous. That's how you get the chemicals. Okay? Now, I'm sure that there's enough about the GMOs, but if you start really looking at the GMO plant itself, the science is still out on whether or not the actual plant itself is all that dangerous to you. Could it alter DNA? They're saying that that's a possibility. Is it possibly mutagenic? There's another possibility. But all the research, it takes time for them to research this stuff, folks. It doesn't happen overnight. They have seen some things they don't like, and they're checking closer, but it takes time. But eating a GMO plant without all the added preservatives and chemicals and yada yada yada, and soaked in Roundup before it sprouts and after it sprouts and all through its little life, that's what's killing a lot of folks. That's where your diseases and so forth are coming from, primarily. So even if the seed bank gets corrupted, it's possible to start getting that straightened out. Because there's a lot of seed out there that's not corrupted. A lot of these organic farmers have kept their seeds. This year, we're planning to really keep a lot of seed. So these are some of the things that you can do. Go out and find a good organic farmer. Go visit the farm and the farmer. Okay, don't look at the website. Okay, go visit the farm. Take a look around in the area. Is there a bunch of GMO crops being grown in the area? You need to know that because it increases the chances that his crop could become contaminated. And then when you're talking with him, you have an opportunity to say, hey, listen, 2 miles away from here, I see a mega corn crop that looks like it's a GMO crop because there's no weeds in it. And, what are you doing to protect your seed base from the cross-pollination and so forth. He may have a plan. They may be out hand-pollinating, things of this nature. They may have a plan. As you start buying organically, you're taking the business away from the stores, who's going to take the business away from these seed companies and these farmers. And believe me, farmers will eventually adapt. Right now, you have a lot of farmers who are looking to get into organic corn for feed because the market has grown so much for it. Case in point, average price $2 a bushel for corn, GMO, Roundup ready corn, about $2 a bushel. They're getting $9 a bushel for organically grown corn from a certified organic grower. $9. Now he's no longer breaking even, he's making money. Okay? And as farmers begin to realize we can make money, they're going to switch products. And they're going to do what they got to do to get their land back in shape. That simple. Okay? Right now, the way they're making money is increase yields, increase yields, increase yields. The only problem is their increased costs are outstripping what they're making on the increased yields. Here again, market's doing that. Too much food on the market. Organic, not enough. And you pay. As that begins to turn around, what happens when organic farming becomes the norm? Prices will be down, won't they? Yeah. You control that. Don't talk about it. Go do it. Are you going to miss a soccer game or two? Yeah. Are you going to be in your kitchen canning and putting up your stocks for the winter instead of watching your favorite shows? Yeah. These things are going to happen, folks. But I can tell you what else is going to happen. One of these days you're going to walk into the grocery store and you're going to be standing there looking at the canned goods section and you're going to go, there's only 10 cans of food sitting here. That ain't enough to feed my family. It's coming at you like a freight train. Okay? Because when Big Ag collapses, you're going to find out the hard way. It's going to get rough. Okay? Big Ag went down back in the 70s. 70s, early 80s. A lot of the family farms just disappeared. Okay? And I can tell you what, food prices, they were kicking people's butts. Really were. It's going to get worse. Okay? It's going to get worse. We've destroyed our cropland. What's going to happen if they make mistakes or we get tainted shipments of 2,4-D into this country and it taints our mega farms with dioxin? Who knows? We haven't crossed that bridge and nobody's really done the long-term research to say what kind of nightmare could we create. We already created nightmares with Roundup and these other herbicides. Now we're moving on to bigger nightmares. Okay? They already killed the soil. Now they're trying to artificially prop it up with microorganisms that are being genetically altered. We don't know what may grow out in that dirt. We don't. We're going to find out. We're the great experiment. When you get tired of that. Okay? It may be too late. If you're feeling led to get out of the cities and to start growing your own food and set up a homestead, the time is right now. Not a year from now, not 2 years from now, not when it's convenient. You better get it done right away. Because one, it's going to take you some time to get up and running. Number two, you may not have that time. It's that simple. It's getting that bad. And if you don't listen and you don't pay attention, you're going to be sitting there when the house of cards collapses around you. And boy, could it collapse. Is this part of the New World Order or the Agenda 21? No, not necessarily. Just could be man screwing things up again. Could it be governments are involved in it? Yeah, highly possible. It's all about power, greed, money, control. You can stop this nonsense. Okay? You can stand up and stop it. But you better get with it. Your time, your clock's running, folks. I mean, it's running. If you look at what these people have done to American agriculture over the last 3 decades, you will understand that we are not far away from a major collapse. And to them, that may be a good thing. Because when it goes down, they can pick up farmland pretty cheap and just take that seed from cradle to grave. Okay? Literally. Their cradle, your grave. They don't care. Understand that. They're going to kill you with their food. They don't care. Because they're going to make money when you're healthy buying food. They're going to make money when you're sick buying food. They're going to make money selling you drugs for when you're sick. Big Pharma is all wrapped up in this stuff. It's the goose that laid the golden egg, folks. These corporations are making a killing, literally. And they don't care. It's all about the money. So if you're being led to get out of the cities and to start a homestead, you better listen, folks. You better listen. Your time's getting short. Okay. Can we change this? Yeah, it's highly possible. Okay. But let me tell you something. I'm about to end this thing because it's gotten way long. When you get back to nature, you got a surprise waiting for you out there. You know what that is? It's where God lives. He'll meet you in your fields. You'll see his wonders on a daily basis. He wants to commune with you. So you wonder why he's whispering in your ear? Get back to nature. Be self-sufficient. Because he knows that's your route to survival. But even more importantly, it's your route to him. That's why you'll find rural folks are closer to their God, have firm beliefs in their God. We see him every day. He drops by to visit, checks on his garden. So if you're being asked to be a part of that, don't hesitate. I don't care if you got to live in a pup tent on 10 acres. You better get busy. Because your time's running out, folks. Okay? Big Ag's going to go down. And when it goes down, urban areas are going to be a war zone. And you're going to be fighting for your very survival. You're not going to be worried about what your future holds. You're going to be more worried about living through the day. And there's not enough of us out here to feed you. Okay? Because you didn't worry about how's those organic farmers doing. If you think about it for 30 seconds. Right now, if people would use their heads when all this information started coming out years ago, and said, I'm getting off this stuff. I'm going to buy organic. I'm going to go to outside farms. I'm going to get my meat from farmers. I'm going to blah, 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 blah. If you'd have done this, we would have a strong and healthy organic farming culture. Most organic farmers are just keeping their head above water because we don't have a big market. Y'all still buy them in the supermarkets. Okay? When that goes down, we're not going to be able to fix it for you, folks. It would take us years to get spun up to handle the additional demand. Okay? And at that point in time, they could hand you a plate of food and a glass of Roundup on ice and tell you, here, drink this, then you can have the food. You drink it. After all, it's safe. Right? If you ever read the instructions on that stuff, you would understand, I don't want to put this stuff in my mouth in any form. It'll kill me. Yeah, you're right. And that's the ingredients that they list. It's those inert ones that'll rip you to pieces because they're more toxic than the ones that they have listed on that label. Keep that in mind. More toxic. So if the ones you're reading about scare the heck out of you, you should be totally horrified at what else is in that stuff. And now we're talking about adding 2,4-D, which is its own dioxin machine. All it's going to take is to set it out in the sunlight long enough and it's contaminated. And we're going to spray that on our fields. And let me tell you something, when you get dioxin in that soil, there ain't no fix. Sure to scrape it off the bedrock and burn it. How much damage can be done? Get your butts out of them stores. For the life of your family, get out of the stores today. Okay? Learn to bake bread. Visit your local farmers. Get good food. It's easy to do. I'm sure you've got organic farmers within a 20-mile radius of where you live right now, unless you live in downtown LA. And good luck with that. But you have farmers out there. Go find them. That's your safety net, folks, for when this goes down. And if you haven't helped that farmer build his farm, when you can't get food, understand you were not part of the solution. You were a large part of the problem. And don't complain. You brought it on yourself. Because every time you buy some of that poison, you're saying, it's okay to poison me. I'm good with it. Think about that. This is Rich from Tennessee Homestead. And Father, we're done here. Y'all have a good life. We'll talk to you later.